You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Why did Trebor Pena leave Syracuse? It was the money. That's what it was. To paraphrase what Fran Brown told all of us this morning, Trebor Pena had a number that he wanted to stay with Syracuse football. Syracuse football had its own number for Trebor Pena to stay with the team. And the two sides could not reach an agreement. This was a contract negotiation eerily similar to Nico Iamaleava over at Tennessee. In fact, it is so ironic that during that podcast, talking about how Nico Iamaleava is leaving Tennessee and this relates to Syracuse, they're playing them in week 1. At the very end of the podcast, I said, folks, this type of situation can happen to us. Guess what? It pretty much did. That is exactly what happened here. This was a contract negotiation, and the two sides could not reach an agreement. Now, I have a feeling, because I've been on social media for the last few days, that I know what you want me to say. You want me to probably trash Trebor Pena. You want me to probably call him disloyal, selfish, not a team player. I am sorry, folks. I understand the frustration, but I cannot get there. I really can't. Look, I think we're all in the same boat that we wish, take the messy situation out of it, we wish that Trebor Pena was still here. We wish that there was a contract agreement. Because Trebor Pena is really good. He was going to be the starting slot receiver once again. He was going to be a security blanket for a brand new quarterback. And trust me, we will get into his comments about the quarterback play in the next segment. But he was going to be that security blanket. He was second team All-ACC a year ago. Trebor Pena would have helped Syracuse football next year win more games. Now he's gone. But I don't fault Trebor Pena for wanting more money. I don't fault Syracuse football for drawing a line in the sand. It just is what it is. There was no contract agreement. And I've accepted that. I don't hold ill will towards Trebor Pena. I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think he's not a team player or disloyal. I don't think that. He would have stayed with Syracuse football had Syracuse football been willing to match whatever he wanted. Evidently, they weren't willing to give it to him. I don't fault Syracuse football for having a line in the sand. They set a number for Trebor Pena, and Pena wanted more. Adios. That is essentially what happened. And there may or may not have been tampering as well behind the scenes with other schools. Trebor Pena, as Fran Brown kind of alluded to, might have had another school or two checking in on him, saying, hey, we know what Syracuse is offering you. We know what their line in the sand is. We'll give you more. And we'll just keep going. If they want to up their offer, we'll just keep going higher and higher and higher. To the point where Syracuse, at some point, you just have to say no. We can't do this. Fran Brown actually said in the interview that they had more money. They just chose not to spend it, which I understand. Again, at some point you have to draw a line in the sand and say, this is our value for a player. If he wants more than that, there's the transfer portal. Trebor Pena wants more money. Good for him. Good for him. But I'm not faulting him. I don't hate him. I don't think he's not a team player or that he's disloyal. He wanted to be paid. It's as simple as that. He's got one more year of college eligibility, and he has been with Syracuse since 2020. And we'll talk later on in the next segment how this is really Trebor Pena's final chance to capitalize on his market value. This is it for Trebor Pena. Whether or not he actually hits the open market, which he has, and he gets more money, that's an entirely different conversation. It's possible that Syracuse did have the higher offer for him, that he miscalculated his market. Nico Iamaleava certainly did. He miscalculated his market. But I don't have fault with him entering the portal. It's within the rules. There's a reason a spring portal window exists. So I wish Trebor Pena the best. I hope that it works out for him. That's it. It was a messy contract negotiation. He wanted more money, and Syracuse was not willing to give him. If you're looking for blame, blame the system that's already in place that allows this stuff to happen. You can blame me for creating the system if you know, you know. But I'm not blaming Trebor Pena, and I'm not blaming Syracuse football. It's just unfortunate, and it's the new reality. When it goes our way, we celebrate Nathan George committing to Syracuse basketball, Donnie Freeman, J.J. Starling staying with Syracuse basketball, Kyle McCord transferring from Ohio State to Syracuse football. We celebrate when it goes our way, but when it doesn't go our way, we throw a fit. I'm not doing that. I am very consistent with my belief.